Welcome to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. I'm Allie Rose, certified clinical hypnotherapist and subconscious success coach. I help my clients stop self-sabotage and feel safe to create more wealth, worth, and wellness from within. If you find yourself stuck repeating the same unhelpful patterns in your life, health, business, or relationships, even after all the mindset work, this podcast is for you. Each week, you'll hear deep dives into the hidden beliefs shaping your life and live hypnocoaching sessions where someone shifts a block in real time. Because willpower isn't the problem, your subconscious story is. And when you shift it at the root, everything else begins to change. So let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. Today's episode is a powerful and tender coaching episode with Angelique, someone I'd never met before this call. She came in with challenges around visibility, worth, and the deep frustration of feeling like she wasn't being chosen, whether by clients or opportunities. But as you'll hear, what surfaced was far more layered than that. Before we dive in, I want to offer a content warning. In this session, Angelique vulnerably shares about a mental breakdown she experienced several years ago. We do briefly discuss suicidal ideation, and while this conversation is held with deep care and compassion, it may be activating for some listeners. If this is something that feels tender or unsafe for you right now, please know that it's okay to skip this episode. Your well-being matters more than anything we share here. And if you or someone you love is struggling with thoughts of suicide, resources, both US-based and international, are linked in the show notes below. Please don't hesitate to use them. As always, this session includes elements of hypnocoaching, which means you'll hear us move from conscious conversation into guided subconscious work. For safety and privacy, the hypnotic induction portion has been edited out, but you'll still get the full heart of the experience. As you listen, I invite you to reflect. Where in your life do you feel like you're doing all the right things and still not being chosen? What roles or responsibilities have made it hard to ask for support when you need it? What if the very things you think disqualify you are actually the parts that make you deeply worthy? All right, let's dive in. So, where I wanted to start was I wanted to ask you, you had said something about client visibility, but then you also had said that there's money blocks. So I
Yes.
wanted to see, what do you want to focus on for this session? Is it the visibility piece of things or is it the money block? And I know that they're related, right? But I wanted to see where you wanted to start.
So the space that I'm in at the moment, um, so I think, yes, those two are related, but today and yesterday, so the last 2 days since the Scorpio full moon, has kind of highlighted that there is an even like bigger, more balloon issue for me, and visibility and money blocks are kind of with that. But what I found within my business is that it feels like no matter how hard I try, whether it's either with business, in my own business, or even sending out CVs where I put out my resume, and half of the time I feel like I have to make my business work because I can't get a job either. So it's like there's no money that comes to me, like my partner will obviously provide for us, and but it's not the same as money coming into my account, into my energy field for me to be independent. So it's just whether I'm applying for jobs or whether I'm hunting for clients, there's no connection. There's nothing happening.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
what do we want to specifically call it? So just so you kind of understand the language that I'm going to use, I'm going to say we're going to explore the part of Angelique that, and what would we call that part?
maybe being worthy of being chosen
Okay.
in whichever, yeah, because clients, if they're seeing me and they're choosing me, they're spending money on me. If a job is seeing me, they're choosing me and spending money on me.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So tell me a little bit more about how this is showing up in your like business. What do you do? What are you putting yourself out there for? What kind of jobs are you looking for?
So basically, I started my practitionership when I was 17, which is a modality called Acunet. So that's kind of been my main healing modality that I've been using. So 17, I'm now turning 31. So it's like a decent amount of, it's like 12, 13 years that I've been a practitioner. And at first, as I was aging through my 20s, I thought that I wasn't seeing clients because I had the beliefs of like, I'm too young, people don't take me seriously enough. And then I started maturing and I would get clients here and there. I'd get a lot of people saying, like I'm really good at what I do, so they don't understand why I don't get clients. But what I focus on a lot is de-stressing. So my niche is mindfulness and shadow work because I've lived a very, like, since I was little, I started getting certificates. So I've been doing meditation for 30 years. I've been doing angel healing since I was like 7 years old, was my first certificate. So, like, I've been doing a lot of spiritual work. So when I bring that into my business, that's where I sit in. It's, like how to be human and experience this human thing of we have emotions, we have all this stuff, and still be able to meditate and journal and have a and how they connect to each other. So that's kind of my business stuff. Um, so mostly when I work with clients, I bring them either into Acunet or Akashic Records or through meditation. And then business wise, if I go into like corporate, I usually go for administration or personal assisting because those were the jobs that I started with when I was in my early 20s. So it kind of just, yeah, those are the two sides.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And tell me a little bit more about your upbringing, your childhood.
Live in South Africa. So grew up here. I was raised by three mothers in a sense, my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt. I didn't know my dad until I was seven, end of 17 towards 18. So I lived with my mom was like very young when she had me, so she was still experiencing what life was. She was 20 when she had me. So I grew up with like a community of women raising me. Grew up in the astrology field, grew up with energy healing, grew up with meditation. Instead of reading the Bible, we read The Secret. As that was my upbringing. It was kind of very much left field in comparison to what most people have. So a lot of issues that I had growing up was getting bullied for not having a dad because I had three moms. So Father's Day would make things for my mom and my aunt and my gran.
Mhm.
Um, and then getting older, we're a very Christian-based country, so I went to a Christian school, and then I got bullied for not being religious. Yeah, so that's some of the upbringing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was an only child,
Okay.
so,
Yeah. So what's your relationship like with your mom, your aunt, and your grand?
uh, so my gran was actually more my mom. Growing up, she was the nurturer for me, so she was the one who, um played games with me. She was the first person to introduce me to meditation because she used to sit with me and then have me like do meditation and stuff like that. So she was very much the nurturer. She made sure that all my needs were cared for. My mom and I, up until my early 20s, we were more best friends than we were mother daughter dynamic. So that took a different kind of energy when I got older for us to have to try and iron out because then when we were both in our adulthoods, we had different kind of issues because now it's not best friend
Mhm.
anymore. Um, my aunt and I have always been like sisters in that sense, where we've been competitive like sisters.
Right.
um, So yeah, it's kind of like all the matrices that were supposed to have places were scrambled around a little.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then dad wasn't in the picture, but have you ever had a relationship with dad or
So no, he's completely different to how I am, and I'm very different to how he is. So he has six other kids with six other women, and when I was introduced to him, we're culturally very different. So he grew up in a very Afrikaans culture, and I didn't. So he values like the traditional woman should be seen and not heard, and why are you so weird? You like all these other things, and you know, yeah, we didn't ever really see eye to eye. Like, I'm too emotional. He prefers like more streamline, logical. Every woman should be in the military, kind of thing. So we don't have a good relationship.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
Is there
No
anything
worries.
else that you think would be important for me to know before we dive in?
Um, no, I think you've got a lot of the important stuff. Um, I don't know if it's relevant. Just as COVID happened, within my business shifting from in person to online, I had a mental breakdown. So I had a bit of a mental collapse happen there, which would probably be important. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. There's like other traumatic stuff. Like, I can tell you that since I was like as small as possible, I was worried about money. Like, it's probably been as a part of my life for as long as I could remember, is making sure that everyone has money and whether or not I have money. So even as a child, I was like writing invoices to my family for things that I did for them so that I could get money. So that's been like a big pattern, I guess.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
more about the mental collapse. That was like 5 years ish ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Um, yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
So it's something that I don't speak about often because I found that there is a lot of judgment around being in a healing space and then having gone through a mental breakdown. I think it's something that people don't often like understand, that when it happens, that there's no control over it when it happens, right? So it was a completely new sphere of existence. What happened was I had a very, like, not successful, but I was making enough money to feel successful and feel like my business was growing in person, and hosting classes and getting good bookings and having good amounts of people attending my stuff and feeling very positive about my business. And I shifted that online and I started getting really good traction, like a few hundred views at a time. And then there were the boredom people who would like sexually harass me continuously on video.
Mm.
And it got to the point where the sexual harassment was so intense that one night my mom and I had an argument over dinner that was made and that they didn't know was ready, so we didn't eat at the same time. And I lost my mind completely. Like, the stress buildup was so intense that I tried to commit suicide. Literally didn't know it was happening until after the fact. Um, but yeah, it's not something I really talk about because people, I found, have more judgment towards that than I would have assumed.
Okay.
I think it's important for people that, even for myself, like, to know that it's not a shameful thing to go through. If your mind breaks, it breaks. Not it's definitely, I think, more society's problem to not be able to know how to talk to people about the pain they've been through.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so since that time, obviously, you have gotten the support that you needed in that time frame between
Yeah. So after the incident, I ended up going into therapy, how I had antidepressants and kind of had to reintroduce myself into everything. But I don't think it's ever really been the same amount of confidence that I've dealt with business the same way that I did before.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for just being willing to share that with me and just for I agree with you. I think that there can be a lot of shame if you are a healer that you have to be kind of like healed and fully whole and like all good all the time. And so I just
Yeah.
really want to acknowledge your courage in sharing that with me, sharing it with those that are listening. I think that, you know, for people who are listening who maybe are in the same space where I hope that if they hear it, they know that it's okay, it happens, and that they can like get the help and support that they need, that there's not any shame in it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think one of the biggest things I learned was also just afterwards to ignore the people that say nasty things, like, oh, but don't do it again because you don't plan it. It's not something you plan to do. It's often and within my experience, I was never the kind of person that I would have assumed would try do something with myself. So not judging the self for breaking after supporting people in so many different ways and taking abuse after abuse from external people to be perfect because we've got these roles that people perceive as like saintly and we can't be at fault,
Right.
that it's okay to find support.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much again for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you ready to dive into hypnosis?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me before we do?
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. All
I'll
right.
trust the process.
Okay. Looking up as if you're trying to look into your own eyebrows, keeping your eyes glued to a real or imagined spot overhead. Just breathe in and out. Take another deep breath. Breathe in and out. And each time you blink, that's hypnosis coming upon you. And just one final time, go ahead and take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. So every time I say the words, go deeper, you're just becoming more and more relaxed. So just one more time, go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. That's perfect. You are responding perfectly, Angelique, exactly as I knew you would, because you are incredibly open, receptive, and suggestible, and your mind is incredibly powerful. So now we're going to explore this part of you that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen. So I want you to just imagine that you've gone inside yourself, you've turned your eyes inward. You're still Angelique, but you found the part of you as you scan your body that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen. Just take a moment to scan your body. And when you find this part of you, can you tell me, where do you carry it in your body?
Mm. That's here.
In your chest?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you were able to pull that part of you out of you and give it a color, texture, shape, or size, what does this part of you look like?
It's like a leaf.
Hmm. Does it have any color?
Like it wants to be an autumn leaf, but then it like almost looks like it's been dried out, so it's starting to lose color.
Okay. Okay. And how do you feel about this part of you that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen? What emotions come up for you when you think about it?
The feeling that I got was kind of like being a kid and then being like, "Oh, look, I found a leaf," and then the parents just are like, "Yeah, it's just a leaf," and then pulls away from it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So go ahead and repeat after me. I am the part of Angelique
I'm a part of Angelique
that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen,
that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen.
and my role in Angelique's life is to,
And my role in Angelique's life is to
and let it tell you. Hmm. Are you hearing anything from the part?
no, it's like cold shouldering.
Okay. I want to try this a different way. Let's just go directly to the part as if it's standing, sitting, or holding it in front of you. And I want you to ask that part, what is your role in my life? Why are you here?
The only word that's floating into my head is justice, but I don't understand it.
That's okay. I want you to ask that part. Can you tell me a little bit more about justice? Why you're here to bring justice, give justice? Tell me a little bit more.
To stand for the parts that don't get seen.
Mm, okay. Now I want you to look at that part of you that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen. And I want you to ask it, what's your function in my life?
Bear witness.
Okay. And I want you to ask it, why do you need to do this?
The image that's coming into my head is almost like superheroes. So, like a crime, if it's not witnessed, then it's never justified, or like it can't meet justice if there's no witness to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want you to ask this part, what are you bearing witness to?
All the things other people don't want to look at.
Mhm.
It's like showing me an image of walking through the forest and picking up the rocks to see what's underneath the rocks that most people don't want to see.
Mhm. Okay. And I just want you to take a deep breath in. You're doing great, Angelique. I also want to just thank this part for being willing to come forward so that we can take a look at it. And I want you to ask this part of you, what is your purpose in my life?
Now that I'm talking in little images, it keeps pointing at the rocks and it's like to look at the bugs,
Mhm. And ask it, why do you need
to
to
like
do
look at the things that don't that other people don't want to see that I don't want to see
Mhm.
either.
To look at the things that you, Angelique, don't want to see?
Yeah, like acknowledging the nasties that humans have, that I have, that no one's perfect.
Mhm. One last time, I want you to ask this part of you, what is your intention in my life?
And saying growth.
Okay. So I want you to ask this part, how does not feeling worthy help me accomplish growth?
And saying to me that when I don't feel worthy, I know how to make other people feel seen. And through that growth, I'm able to be more. It's like the more I grow in my unworthiness or knowing what that feels like, I know how to see it in other people
Mhm.
and know how to recognize when they don't feel worthy so that I can witness their worth because I've been there.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Now, I want to ask you the part of Angelique that doesn't feel worthy of being chosen to tell me what was going on in Angelique's life when you first decided to come into her life.
I'm saying it's always been there.
Mhm.
Like the image that I'm getting is through, like, it took me through the womb of my mom and was like before that time
Mhm.
to like lifetimes of not being worthy.
Mhm.
It's just been there.
Right. Angelique, now I want to ask you, how is this not feeling worthy of being chosen or not feeling worthy of being seen or receiving? Is it working in your life?
No.
Why is it not working?
It feels incredibly heavy.
Mhm.
Like I have to fight for everything, and it's kind of tiring being the one fighting for everything all the time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So, can you see and understand why this is a part of you?
I can see why it held a purpose,
Mhm.
but I also kind of wanted to just fuck off and be
Right,
like,
right.
I'm done.
Right, right. So here's the reality is every single part of us, whether it seems like it at the surface or not, it believes that it's doing something good for us. So this part of you has believed for a very long time, for a lifetime, that it is actually helping you to stay close to other people's pain, right? To see kind of the as you said, nasty of other people's life so that you can see them, so that you can help them, right? I feel like it's kind of interwoven into your work and into your identity. You're a healer. So I wonder if this part of you actually felt worthy, if it feels like there would be a break between you and the people that you serve.
Mm,
Does that feel like it resonates at all?
yeah.
Okay. So that's so beautiful, right? That this part came up with a way to make you feel connected to the people that you serve. And maybe it worked for a while, right? And you shared with me something so powerful at the beginning of our time together, which is that you have been through it. You have been through difficulty in your life. I'm going to pose this to you in the part. I don't know that you need to keep carrying this feeling of being unworthy of being chosen in order to know and understand what it feels like to be in need of help and support. Because I guarantee that what you went through, that while you have healed from it and you are growing from it, that you will never forget that period because I believe that that changed you at a core level. And actually, what I heard when you were sharing with me, I heard so much strength and so much growth from that period because you have learned to take a stand for, yes, I'm a healer and this is something that happened in my life. So I don't think you're going to forget. What's coming up for you?
Uh, oh, I think that's the first time I'd ever voiced it, like, beyond the people that know me.
Right.
So it's just, I think it feels like I'm ready to stop fighting.
Right. Well, I want you to ask this part of you. Well, I want to ask you first. Are you ready to release this feeling of being unworthy?
It's
Okay. I want you to ask, tune back into that part of you, and I want you to ask it, is it ready to let go? Is it ready to go? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's actually in some ways keeping you separate from the very thing that you want to do, which is working with people and all of that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I want you to ask that part. Is there anything that it needs from you in order to feel fully safe enough to go? Is there anything practically or tangibly that it needs from you?
But I'm getting used to use my voice more.
Okay. What does that look like?
It's showing me all the ways that I'm always kind to other people, but not to myself. So I need to choose more kind words and voice my words to myself more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that the part wants you to know? Go ahead and ask it. Is there anything else you want me to know? No. Okay.
No.
Is there anything else you want the part to know? Okay. I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in. And I want you to notice, has anything shifted at all in your body where that part, you were holding that part?
And I felt a little bit nauseous.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wonder
It
what that's about. Go ahead.
definitely a lot of like feels like a lot of movement happening. Like my hands are hot and everything's warm and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, right? So I've been doing this for a while. I've worked with a lot of different things, and so one of the things when I think about being nauseous, I think about maybe throwing up, and I think about how that is expelling something from your system. right? I worked with a client who was constipated for 18 years, and during our very first session, um, she threw up. And that was really that part of her letting her know, like, "I'm ready to release this." Right? So I just wonder if that's this part of you is ready to be released from you in some way. Okay. I want us just to take a moment and thank this part. So go ahead and repeat after me. Thank you for helping me the way you did.
Thank you for helping me the way you did.
You've had a very powerful impact on my life.
You've had a very powerful impact on my life.
You've helped me become a powerful healer.
You've helped me become a powerful healer.
You helped me be able to see and understand the pain of others.
You've helped me to stand the pain of others,
But now you're free to go.
but now you're free to go.
Thank you for helping me.
Thank you for helping me.
I understand now
I understand now
that I don't need you in the same way anymore.
that I don't need you in the same way anymore.
And if there's anything else that you feel like you need to say to the part, go ahead and say that now. But if you don't, that's okay. Are you good? Anything else? You're good? Okay. Okay. I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you are letting go, erasing, eradicating, eliminating, and releasing those old beliefs. They're all behind you now. Every imprint, every impression, every thought, every idea, every belief and feeling or memory, anything and indeed everything that had you think or feel or believe that you need to suffer in order to succeed, that you are not chosen, is shrinking, fading, disappearing. It's going, it's gone, it's shattered and smashed, it is erased, it's out of your life, it's so far into the past, removed forever. And the belief that it's not safe to choose yourself or be kind to yourself is also shattered, smashed, erased, eliminated, and gone forever. It's out of your life. So that from now on, that will always be something that you used to believe that simply cannot, will not, does not influence you ever again. And now, as you are seeing this, feeling this, believing this, feeling wonderful, amazing, and free, I'm going to count you back to full awareness. With each number, you will become more aware of your surroundings, bringing this feeling back to the room. So, on the count of one, you're becoming more aware. On the count of two, you're aware of the room and the sounds around you. On the count of three and four, you can take in a deep breath. And on the count of five, whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. How was that for you?
Intense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it can be. Right. What felt most intense for you? Was there anything surprising or that you'd never thought of before?
Um, I think it was the all-consuming part that felt so incredibly intense. I had to like
Mm,
relax into that.
right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to relax into it. You did great. That part of you did great. Were you
Thank you.
surprised by anything that the part said?
I think I was surprised by the stuff that had come up. Like I knew that I had this knowing that there was a sense of I didn't feel worthy of certain things, but I didn't think it would be as deeply back as it was.
Yeah.
Um, and like I've always had this, I like the shadow side of things, and I like balancing that, and I have made that a personality trait and built a life around it. I didn't expect it to be part of the unworthiness.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you could see how that kind of had woven itself into this. But also at the same
Yeah.
time, like how it's not, at least that part of it is not working for you. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think you will do, if anything, different now based on our session?
I think it's the first time in a long time that I haven't just thought about business.
Mm, mhm,
I think I've been pushing that so hard that I've made that an identity as well.
mm,
And this is the first time that my body's like, well, actually, I don't need to think about that right now.
mm. I love that for you. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else? I know you're just still kind of like settling back in, but is there anything else you want me to know before we close up?
No, just that that was very intense. It was very, very powerful. Like there was lots happening. Um, so yeah, that was really cool.
Good. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much just for trusting me with your story and just thank you for trusting me to guide you through that process. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for the guidance. It was really nice. It's the first hypnotherapy I've done, so that was quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully interesting in a good way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Go take good care of
Yeah.
yourself for the rest of the day. And again, I just really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. I want to thank Angelique with my whole heart for her raw honesty, her willingness to be seen in the messy middle, and for naming what so many of us carry quietly. Her story is a reminder that even the most seasoned healers, space holders, and coaches are still human. And sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is say, I'm not okay right now. If you're navigating your own version of this, feeling like you've broken down in ways you can't name or that no one sees your effort, your pain, or your worth, I want you to know this. You are not broken, you are not alone, and you are not beyond support. If you're curious what hypnocoaching could look like for you, you can head to shiftyourstorypodcast.com or click the link in the show notes to learn more and book a connection call. And if this episode stirred something in you, please share it with someone who may need to hear it too. Here are a few questions to sit with as you close out today's episode. What would it mean to choose yourself fully and unapologetically? Where might your nervous system still be holding on to stories that your mind has already outgrown? And what becomes possible when you start listening to the parts of you that you've been trying to ignore? And once again, if you or someone you love is struggling with suicidal ideation, please know that support is available. Suicide prevention resources, both in the US and internationally, are included in the show notes below. I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Until next time. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. If today's conversation sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a message on social media. I'm at the Allie Rose on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to be coached on a future episode or explore what it would look like to work with me one-on-one, head over to shiftyourstorypodcast.com. And if you never want to miss an episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a rating and review. It helps more people find this work. Until next time, keep shifting, keep growing, and most importantly, I want you to remember that your story isn't set in stone. You always have the power to shift it.